What we're going to have a look at today is how we divide a set of scores or data set into quartiles. Quarters basically, so cutting it into 4 equal groups if possible. So we know already that the median is the middle score, so it divides the group into 2 equal groups. But sometimes we're going to have a look at, or it's useful to cut it into 4 equal groups rather than 2. This is called quartiles. And what I'm going to do is go through how we do that. So we're going to have a look back at Rachel. She's done 12 spelling tests, and the marks are here for her 12 spelling tests, but we like to arrange them into order to make things a lot easier. So her lowest score was 10 and her highest score was 20. So from that, we can then just have it separated so it's easier to see. Lowest score through to a highest score, so in ascending order, and we're going to find the median of that. So cut off 1 from each end and keep doing that until we find the middle score. However, there are 2 middle scores. So what we found from doing that last time, when we've got 2 middle scores, we add the 2 together and divide by 2. That finds the middle of those, which is 16.5. What we've now done is cut the 12 scores into 2 equal groups. So we've got 6 down here and 6 up here. But we're going to go further. We're going to want to cut it into quarters. So we've got a lower group, our 6 down there, and we're going to find the median of those. So again, we can cut 1 off each end and do that and find that the median of this lower half is 14. So 1 off each end, another 1 off each end. We have 2 middle scores, add them together, we get 28, halve them, and the middle of those is 14. That's known as our lower quartile. Now, quite often we can write that as Q1, which is 14, or it's also known as QL, our lower quartile. And we can do the same with our upper half. So we can take those upper 6, cross 1 off each end, find that there's 2 middle ones again, and find the middle of those. Because they're the same, it's going to be the upper quartile being 18. So our lower quartile, our upper quartile, and our median cuts it into 4 equal groups. So our upper quartile is also known as Q3, or as we said before, it's also known as our upper quartile, QU. All right, so that seemed to be quite easy to cut that into 4 equal parts, mainly because 12 is divisible by 4, and then we end up with 3 in each group. So the median was 16.5, Q1 was 14, and Q3 was 18. But what we're going to have a look at is Rachel actually did a 13th test. So now instead of having 12 scores here, she's got 13. We're going to find the quartiles now when there's an odd number of scores. So place them in order. Keep crossing 1 off each end. And we find that our median is 17. Now, we now have 6 scores below and 6 scores above. So that median is not going to be included because it will then not cut them into half. So we're going to leave that out and find the median of these lower 6, which like before is 14, and our median of our upper 6. So 1 off each end, keep going, and we find our 2 middle scores, 18 and 19, and the middle of those is 18.5. So our lower quartile is 14 and our upper quartile is 18.5. Right, so let's have a look at another possibility. We're going to take Rachel again, and she's actually gone and done a 14th test, and this time she scored 9. So in order, this is what her 14 scores look like. We can go 1 off each end and find that we have 2 middle scores of 16 and 17 and find the middle of those. We're now going to have 7 scores below that and 7 scores above that. So these 7 scores, 1 off each end, keep going until we get a middle score, which is 13. Okay, so there's our 6 scores below the median, and our lower quartile is 13. Then we can take our upper scores and do the same thing, one off each end until we find the median there. So our upper quartile is 18. So let's have a look at another possibility. So Rachel does another test and she scores 20 this time. So we now have 15 scores for Rachel placed in order. So we'll follow the process again. We're going to find the median, which will be the middle score, by crossing one off each end. And when we do that, we find that our median is 17. So we do that, and then we keep going. We now have 3, 6, 7 scores below and 3, 6, 7 scores above. So we're going to find the median of this lower set, which will give us the lower quartile. So we get our lower quartile of 13. And then we can do the same for our upper quartile. Take this large group and we find the median of that. And our upper quartile is 19. So it's easy to find our lower quartile and upper quartile by finding medians and then medians again. So there we have it. From our whole group there, our data set, her lower quartile now is 13 and upper quartile is now 19. Now we can relate some other information that we've already done with statistics. We already know that the range is the difference between the highest score and lowest score. So if I wanted to find the range of Rachel's scores now, her highest score is 20, her lowest score is 9, so the range is 20 minus 9, which is 11. But what we're also interested in is finding the range of the middle half of the group. So we get rid of the upper quarter and the lower quarter, and we can find the range of this middle half because there's 2 quarters there, and this is known as our interquartile range. So it's the difference between the upper quartile and the lower quartile. So the interquartile range, the upper quartile we found was 19 and the lower quartile is 13. So the interquartile range is 19 minus 13. So what we now have, if we put all of that together, is what we call a 5-number summary. And it's pretty obvious. Why? Because we now have 5 numbers that tell us about all of this data set. The median we found before was 17. The lower quartile is 13. The upper quartile was 19. Our highest score is 20. And our lowest score is 9. So our 5-number summary can help us with box and whiskers. So we can use that 5-number summary to help us draw box and whiskers. But we don't need to do that at this point. But what we do need to know is how to find the median and the upper and lower quartile. And if we subtract the upper and lower quartile, then we get the interquartile range.